Now recently I covered something quite strange that is found inside of Super Mario 64, a feature that no one ever knew about. But according to people online, there isn't just a magical artificial intelligence inside of the cartridge that will make your playthrough different. There is also something else inside of it, Wario, one of Mario's enemies who's barely seen in the main Super Mario series. But according to some, he can actually be found inside of Super Mario 64, hidden down a hallway of all places. And if you actually find him, you are in for trouble to say the least. However, is any of this really true? Can Wario be found in Super Mario 64? What does he do in the game? And why was he even found there? Well, let's find out. And believe me, the story behind this one is fascinating to say the least. Now, when Super Mario 64 came out, it was a hit right away, and so many people have fond memories of it. However, at some point, people noticed that certain things that they remembered from their childhood weren't in the game anymore. And this could be a small thing, like a 1-up being in a different place, but also gigantic changes like levels being completely different. And so the lines became blurred, and a quite interesting theory was born involving artificial intelligence and Super Mario 64. It was called the Personalization AI, and according to people online, it was an artificial intelligence designed to change things in Super Mario 64 to cater towards the player. Now this whole idea went viral, and loads of people covered and documented this phenomenon, and what it would do in-game. However, I already discussed all of this in another video, which you can find in the upper right corner. But for now, we will focus on one thing about this that I haven't covered yet, because I wanted to discuss it all in a dedicated video, and it's called the Wario Apparition, which is an anomaly seen in certain personalized copies of Super Mario 64. This large Wario head appears in the castle's basement. To be more specific, the Hall of Dire Docks. Now, when this haunted face appears, it is advised to turn off your console immediately, as it can cause you to experience stroke-like symptoms when attempting to describe what you saw. And when you do see it, it will say, "You want fun? Wario show you fun." And at that point, he begins to chase you down the now endless hallway. Now, if you're caught, you will be presented a game over screen, regardless of how many lives you had when it happened. And once you're being chased, the Endless Stairs theme will play to make it even more scary. It really is terrifying, you cannot escape, and believe me, Wario will show you what fun truly means. However, this isn't the only thing that happens apparently. People online have reported a bunch of other things happening after they found Wario. Some people have reported exiting the hall, which was impossible according to many. And after doing so, they ended up in the main room of the castle's first floor. At that point, a boss theme will play, and the Wario Apparition will appear. And then, a boss fight will begin. It usually attacks by charging the player and shooting fireballs. And all of this is extremely hard to dodge. Now, you can defeat it by ground pounding its head 3 times, though getting on top of it is really hard to accomplish. And once you've done this, you will apparently unlock Wario as a playable character. But this isn't all. Some people have reported finding a painting of the Wario Apparition that when entered will lead to either the hallway chase or the boss fight. So there is another way of encountering him. Currently, it's unknown as to why this painting appears, as there is already a way to find the Wario Apparition after all. It is possible that similar to the DS Remake's character levels, it was intended to be found to begin the fight. And according to a few reports, the painting changed to show their prior experience with the Wario Apparition if they encountered it before finding the painting. Clearly, there's a lot going on here. Apparently, there are things in the game that no one ever found, and some of these remind me more of a horror game than a Super Mario title. And believe me, there's a lot more on this weird apparition. People have been documenting all of this for years. However, most people agree that the AI, which can be found within Super Mario 64 supposedly, theory has something to do with all of this. The discovery of this is actually considered ground zero for the personalization AI theory, and it is believed that the Wario Apparition is a mixture of people wanting Wario to appear in the game and unused remnants of a Wario boss fight. But in the end, this boss fight and encounter as a whole was most likely cut because of its difficulty and also scare factor. You gotta admit, this is freaking terrifying, especially if you're like, I don't know, 10? Now the AI uses and creates this scenario from those leftover parts in order to personalize the playthrough in a way that the person might like. Or not really. Some people still think that the AI is actually evil, which could very well be the case. But is there actually something like this in the game? Is there a secret boss in the game that will allow you to play as another character? Well, after going through the files of the game and any of the stuff that data miners have found, I did see some interesting stuff. However, there are no traces of Wario anywhere as far as I could see. No leftover objects, animations, models, or anything. But I did find something else that is quite intriguing, to say the least. Because as you can imagine, a lot of people wonder where all of this really came from. How did people come up with this weird hidden Mario boss that reminds most of us of a creepypasta? Well, I think I have found the answer. All of this started in 1992, when one of my favorite Super Mario games was released, and Nintendo was working on some new revolutionary technology. During an event known as CES, which is a convention that focuses on electronics, Nintendo showed off something brand new. A real-time Mario that can speak and has realistic facial expressions. Because they were actually using some sort of face rigging software, which is a common thing to see nowadays with those VTubers. It was generated on a Silicon Graphics 420, no joke, VGX workstation, which was groundbreaking for the time, but now it's incredibly outdated. But still, I bet this is one of the things that inspired the Wario Apparition rumor. It does look like the giant floating Wario head after all, so I bet this footage that Nintendo showed off in 1992, 4 years before the release of Super Mario 64, fueled the idea of the Wario Apparition. But this isn't all, because I think there's a second piece to this puzzle. The commercial for Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins, which came out the same year. In it, you can once again see some sort of giant floating Wario head that tries to hypnotize you, which is a thing that happens in the game's story. And once again, it looks similar to what you can find in the basement of Super Mario 64. So I bet this and the face rigging software from CES inspired the rumor. And sadly enough, it is fake. Sure, we would see Wario in Super Mario 64 a couple years later when they released the DS remake, but the Wario Apparition is nowhere to be found. It is, sadly enough, 100% fake. However, there is actually more to all of this. There is an actual AI inside, according to people online, that changes the game in major ways. And some of that might be true actually, which I also covered in the video that you can watch right now. A link can be found in the upper right corner and on the screen right here. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Click the bell button, like, subscribe, do the whole 9 yards. Tell me in the comments what I should do. Also, I know a lot of you wanted me to cover the Wario Apparition, so I did. I think it's one of the coolest, like, kind of creepypasta rumor type things surrounding Super Mario 64 at this point. So I'm glad I could cover it, and I hope you liked the vid and my little theory or explanation about where it actually came from, this whole thing. So help your boy out, leave a like, comment, do all the good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!